Hello, everybody, welcome. Versus like investigator, hell, huh. Everybody, welcome. Versus like investigator. So, guys, first of all, I hope you've had a good weekend. That was Valentine's Day on Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday. I was, I took the day off on Saturday. I planned to do a video on Sunday, but I slept so poorly that I was exhausted on Sunday. So I actually organized the document here to do the video, but I end up not doing the video. But the good thing is I saved uh news for today. So Karina is not with me today. She's taking care of a family member. She says hi. Okay. And so let's get started. All right. And guys, this is a time when there's so much going on and it's already, can be sometimes difficult when you observe what's on the news, right? The stuff that's going on. But I just want to send everybody a big hug. Okay. I have a stone here with me, but because it's a tough time just to observe. But I've been reading this one book I told you guys about. And this recommendation to try to observe. Of course, it's very serious what's going on, right? But see it with a bit of detachment, and then just kind of sort of stand back, and I send energy to Kamala. I see them collapsing, okay? And I think it helps. Okay, so you can kind of step away from it a little, okay? All right. So, but there's so much going on that we want to look into it. All right. And I have some recordings I'm not going to use today, but I talked to some people and sometimes they ask me about um like the politics stuff and I end up recording it. Like, I mean, record it and then with their permission. It's just interesting insights and confirmation of some of the things. Okay? All right. So let's get started. What a time to be alive. Okay. All right. So let's see here. So okay, I did the, so let's start with the good news, the good things. Okay. And here, Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was in New York City on Friday. Several of you sent me informations, but it's just nice to see her. Okay, let's see. Let me get a very high tech. What is my high tech uh sticker thing? Okay, one sec. So actually, you know what? Okay, so she was there. Oh no, no, this one. Okay, I need to get one. What is it? What is it? Okay, so I put them away here. Okay, all right. So Kamala in New York City with Dog on Friday. So she went to see a Broadway play called Gypsy, and it was, look at her, it's so nice. Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice? So that's that. Now, of course, the reason we want to talk about her is because I want to talk about good things. And I never forgot Karina's vision recently that she saw Kamala taking, like, she has a red phone in her house. That was the vision, right? And that she's expecting a call about things that are happening. Okay, so all right, so let's get started. So what is going on with Kamala Harris? And as she sees what is happening, especially with the Ukraine situation. Okay, what is going on with her right now? Let me do the protection. I'd like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I feel my lungs as I breathe out a greater circle, a greater circle. I step into it, I step into it. I feel protected, I feel connected. I'd like to ask that information come only from the highest sources. That they create the good and only the good, and so it is. Okay. So, so what's going on with Kamala? Okay, what was it like for her to be here, and how does she see the stuff that's going on? Okay. What is her attitude towards what is happening? So first I'll say, because I didn't have more questions. So I saw that she's observing. It's interesting. I felt her energy like when she was there, right? And with the people in the play, she's very charismatic. There's so much light around her. And she can't say anything, right? When people ask, "Oh, oh my God, can you believe what's happening?" Huh? She's like, "Oh yeah, right." And then I see that she's watching the news, but she's detached, as I was saying before, kind of like the recommendation that I had before. But I feel like she's seeing all of it, and she says, I was the beginning of the coup started when they stole the election." She knows that. Now, is she, so this is what she's aware of what is happening. And it is something like the sensation of being in the middle of a heist, right? She has to pretend like nothing is happening. That's what I pick up from her. Now, what is going on? What is going on with okay, just to confirm it, does she know that does she think she could take over soon? Or what are the prospects for her? What does she think? Waiting, looking at the clock, the watch. Obviously, she's not gonna go like, "Hey, Donald, get out of there. You didn't win the election. Get the hell out of here." Well, she can't say that. She has to be, somebody has to pick her up and just put her there. She can't do the quote unquote, it was not exactly revolution, but just taking the place that was stolen from her. Okay. She can't do that. So what are you doing? So come on, you have to wait. Wait. And I see that she's looking, Lord Austin, I think he's retired, right? But they told her you have to wait until we get them. Okay. So does she think that this is imminent? She's saying, and I get this, I see her face and she's saying, "Rosie, you have to live as if nothing is going to happen. I can't say anything." And it's saying they really cannot say anything because they don't want to, I feel like, again, raise suspicion. And I've never seen such quiet, I feel like, okay. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense from this perspective, okay? So that's what I think. I don't feel like she's like, "Oh, I can't, like, I don't, doesn't make sense." I don't think she's waiting to, she's not waiting on it. She's living her life. And when the time is right, it comes. That's what I think. Let me ask this question. Does she have plans for, what are her plans for like in 6 months? Oh, I see that she's looking at the White House. So she can't make very serious plans to do anything. I see that she's, you know how the image of Biden as he was landing on the grass that one time I used on the video, then uh that's what I see her landing on the grass of the White House and she's waving. So that's that. Okay, let's move then. So that's kind of like, guys, it's always kind of like an impressionistic view in some ways, right? I explain to you what I see, and that's that. And so, and people say, "But do you still see her?" So I still think it's very possible, yes, that she could come back. But do I have any more details? No, I do not. Okay. And I see, because that's what I never really, I will never see the situation that is happening. I wouldn't go as far as call it presidency because I don't know what it is. They stole it. But I don't, I just I just urge everyone to see it as the other way I was explaining to you in one of the other videos, where you look at an image and you could see it, push it away. This is you, it's situation wise, push it away and see it as a projection, almost like a movie, right? And as a movie, you can stop it and you can rewrite it. You have to make the image feel less important, quote unquote, because that's ultimately what I think what they really are doing. They know they are illegitimate, and they're doing everything to push it down our throats. It is in some ways a coup, but I do not think they will stand. Okay. All right. All right. So, all right. So let's go to other. Let me change the background here. Now now we're going to move from this to, because I want to start with the good news and now the other stuff happening in the world. So I'll explain to you what everything is happening. It is a little long because it has to do with the Ukraine meetings. Okay. So, all right. So I always want to post it. Okay. Okay. So this is so last week, JD Vance made a spectacle of himself at the Munich Security Conference. And then from there, he really severed the relationships with the US oldest ally, which is Germany, right? And the other European countries. Now, and that's Putin's goal, of course. So following that, and we have the photograph that I showed you on, I think it was on one of the last video or a few or the one after before that, where Zelensky was on a table across from the American envoys and the VP, and they wanted Ukraine to sign off, and Ukraine said no, sign off on this mineral deal or something. So not with so then what happens next? So then they planned this meeting of I don't think Putin or Trump are going to show up directly, but it's going to be a meeting between Russia and the US to decide the future of Ukraine. But Ukraine was not invited. Okay, Ukraine was not invited, and no European country was invited. I mean, how shady is that? Okay, so this is I think I don't know if it was a Saturday or Sunday this came out, and uh, and so they're talking about imagine Ukraine is the victim; they were invaded, right? But they're not inviting them to talk about the peace plan, right? That's nice. It's very respectful, very respectful. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so next. So then we have now here. This is from yesterday, and things have already changed. So European leaders, because the European leaders were not invited, what they did is they said we're going to meet next week. This was Sunday. This was yesterday. So today already the meeting has happened. All right. So European leaders meet in Paris as US pushes ahead with Ukraine plan. And it's interesting, even the New York Times, as right wing and as pro Trump or both sider newspapers that they are, even then they they don't even call it because the Trump administration was calling it a peace plan. It is not a peace plan, right? So they call it the Ukraine plan. So, all right. So then let's see there if there's more here. So then okay. So there's more to come in a little bit, but let's ask here. So we have a lot. Oh, did I not? Okay, did I not talk? Okay, 1 second. I felt like I had. See, there's so much, guys. I forgot. I didn't add this one part. But after this, Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, said that no, Europe has no business. No, Europe has no business in meddling with the peace plan of Ukraine. They stay away there. Not invited, not coming. Okay. So so anyway, that was his opinion. Opinion. And Tuesday now, tomorrow is the meeting. Now let's talk about let's talk about it's like somebody I never met or no, it's not a good example, but can you imagine the goals they have to meet about Ukraine without inviting Ukraine? It's kind of like wow, interesting. I'm finding interesting. Okay, so let's first ask what happens in today's meeting. It was reported, right, that the European countries are now wanting to the UK Prime Minister offered to send troops to Ukraine because of course we know what it is, right? The plan of Putin is to weaken Europe and then he can take over, he can invade, he could do whatever he wants. Okay, so but let's ask what happened at the meeting today. Okay, what happened there at the European meeting? What is this? I thought, oh, it's here. Oh, it's somebody plays with makeup gets dirty, huh? Mm, okay, sorry. Okay, I know there was a little bit of an eyeliner that fell somewhere. I don't know what happened. So anyway, yes, this conversation is about eyeliner. My course with the eyeliner. All right, so immediately I see this image of a wall. They're putting up a wall. I have to put a wall to protect, not a real wall, right? But to have to protect Europe. They know exactly what it means that once they go to, I mean, let's be real. Putin is exactly playing doing the Nazi playbook, right? And and okay, let me put aside that because I was gonna say Trump is like the is it the Chamberlain? Remember that appeased Putin, but it's a very different story because Trump really is an employee of Putin, okay, which is a different situation, but still, this is they know very well, Europeans know very well that's what Russia wants. They want to dominate and to create a massive kleptocracy as that's they are attempting to do that. Not attempting, they're doing it now. Let's just say it here. So I see them wanting to just completely isolate Europe from the threat of Russia. Okay. So then that's their plan. We're going to block them. That's and some newspaper have reported that some countries have some resistance towards it, but I think most of them they seem to be very united on connected to this. And okay, and I see of course Hungary. I mean they have to kick out Hungary, but let's see. Okay, let's see what's next. So, okay, so that's what I see that they got out of the meeting. Now let's talk about because the person who called the meeting was Macron, I think. He was the one who spoke very openly about it. So, what is Macron thinking? Because since he's taking a leadership role, given that Germany is sort of in flux, right? What is he thinking? He's like he's very upset, and so interesting that I mentioned Germany because we have the elections at the end of this week, right? I think it's on Sunday. So they are all very concerned because this is a massive, this week is huge, right? It's a massive, what is it called? Tipping point, right? Tipping point. That's because I'm trying this. It's a lip like moisturizer. I think it's by Elf. I think it's honestly for me, it's a little dark. I don't like dark too much, but it's sheer, so it's good. But if you have a little bit darker skin, it would be great because you know what I mean? Like it looks, I look a little gothy. I don't like it. I look like a too gothy because I like wearing black a lot, so I have to go light on the lipstick. Anyway, going back to the politics now, changing. All right, so anyway, so Macron, so that's right. He wants to do something about Elon Musk. They all want to do something this week. This is the week of decisions, I see. So, okay, Macron. So in March, let's say in a month, March 17th, where are you going to be? I see he's interesting. I don't think I'm surprised to see him drinking a beer. It's like drinking a beer with a woman. And I feel like the woman, I think it's Anna. There is a woman in the Green Party of Germany. And by the way, Green Party in Germany is not like here, that is basically Russian assets. It's a real party over there in Germany. I think Annabella, I forgot her name. Baubeck. I don't know. I like her. Uh, so what I'm understanding here is that there's a very strong likelihood that things will improve for them. And that Musk, he's like, oh, interesting. Macron's like, he's in jail. I put him long time ago. It's been a while. I took his money. I put it in the pockets of the French people, and I took his things for me. No, not for him. Just kidding. No, I think he's like, I'm tired of these people telling me what to do. I'm tired of it. Yes. So, so, so anyway, I think it's like, oh, very nice to see you again. Now it sounds a little bit German accent, but anyway, the point is that it seems like a little like finally, and then he's having a Zoom call with the Zelensky. Hey, Zelensky, how's it going or whatever? And that is interesting. I was not asking about him, but I see face of Lavrov upset. And Lavrov is, this is again, if you just arrived. It's I'm looking at March 17th, 2025. And I'm looking at it came up here, Sergey Lavrov. And Sergey Lavrov is upset because he's thinking back. Just last month we were on top of the world. And then I see the world the he's walking, it's interesting, this image almost like a cartoon. He's walking on a rug, and this rug is made out of almost like Vaseline or thick oil, and he steps on it and it falls. That is to say, what he said when he says he was on top of the world, it was illusory, right? It was temporary because they stole to get their way. And it feels as though by March 17th, this will be it's almost as if imagine if it's oil or something greasy, it will have melted. Or imagine bacon. It's kind of weird to think of a rug made out of bacon fat, but slips. He slips and falls because the ground was shaky. In other words, right? So, so that little thing for my house. Okay. Another thing I would like to ask, and by the way, guys, I try to always like have the questions before, but it's one of those things I have to just accept it and just go with the flow because there's a lot to discuss and a lot is going to come up. So, something else that came up just now that I'm asking is that someone I try to, as you know, sometimes people leave comments saying, "Oh, such and such said," and so forth. I try to not. I don't. I'm not interested in really double checking what such and such said. But they mentioned a timeline. They said, "Oh, so others. Some people are saying it's going to take 18 months for Trump to stay. Others say there's going to be until the summer." But then I thought the question, a really interesting question, is the Russia versus Europe, because it's I think this story, we are all connected in this, right? Because we have the same aggressor. And so the position of Russia versus Europe would be another really interesting way to look at it, right? So let's see since we looked at Lavrov is the, like, for decades I feel like he's been the foreign minister or Russia. By the way, it's interesting. I never forgot. I did a reading once about him years ago, and I never forgot how intelligent he is. He's a really, really smart person, and he is he's has a physics degree. So I'm not saying that, of course. No, I am saying actually, you have to be very intelligent to get a physics degree. And he doesn't do physics, of course, but he's very, very smart. So he's still a horrible person. You can be both evil and smart. It's not mutually exclusive. So anyway, so let's go to Lavrov and let's say September 15th, 2025. What does Lavrov think Russia's position is versus Europe? Let's say, what does he think today? And then we'll ask in September 15, 2025. So Lavrov, what do you think Russia's position? I'm not talking about propaganda. Lavrov, I'm asking about the real position. I know you're an intelligent person. With me, we can talk straight. We're talking straight. Lavrov, please. Okay, so Lavrov, what do you think of position of Russia Federation today versus Europe? Huh? Listen, Rosie, we have arms. They have big arms. They are a rich country. We're running out of money here. We need to go steal coffers. We need to steal money for sustaining our country. But they don't have many weapons there. We can create chaos, but we cannot go inland. But we're doing well. We think there is big chance we're winning. That is position. Okay. So Lavrov, let's go to September 15, 2025. What do you think Russia's position is versus Europe? I see that he's like really like that. I see that he's crying, like his hair is interesting. I don't know that he has a lot of hair left, but I also have hair loss myself. So look here. You see, I have but it's not so bad, is it? Am I like Lavrov? Lavrov has more hair than me. Okay, that was weird. That was uncalled for. So, because I see that he has just a few wisps, essentially, like kind of like messed up. He's like, so interesting. I feel like he has no power whatsoever, and that he's in house arrest, and that he's not in the foreign ministry. No, Rosie, I was the best foreign minister ever. I fought for country. I was fighting for country. I was fighting for country. And then they take it away from me. We expose election interference. Yes, we interfere. Yes, we interfere election. They taking Elon Musk. They showing. We help Elon Musk with the money and then he help us. He help us. Yes, he talk too much. Elon Musk need to keep his mouth shut. But he talk too much. And now we're here a situation. So no, really, guys, I know, okay, I should not internalize the voices of there's a lot of people who are going to say, Rosie, I barely understand it. When you speak with your Russian accent, Rosie, you ought to speak better. You have a Rosie, you have a YouTube channel. You understand? Can you make more of an somebody can you make more of an effort? Rosie, do you understand? Diction is very important. I barely hear a word of what you say. And then I wrote, make more of an effort is what you're going to say to yourself when your bad intentions return to sender. And so it is. No, really. No, because, people can be critical, but when there is meanness, I send a return sender. Okay, where are we again? Okay, I was doing the Lavrov accent. I was explaining that many people will say, Rosie, I do not understand what you say when you do a Russian accent. Okay, well, it's life. Sometimes things escaping. Okay, I do not provide simultaneous translation service. But anyway, going back here, that I observed Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, at a home of his own. He was at home and he was acting in a manner that was worrisome. No, he was just like disheveled. Really, he was disheveled and he was um, just upset. And he had all these papers, but I feel like it's house arrest. It doesn't look like a prison to me, but he definitely looked like he was very far away from the Russian foreign ministry because it had been taken over by others. They did because they destroy their own country. Now they want to do it to us, but no, Lavrov not happening. Stay away today. Stay away, ho. Okay. Anyway, what are we? Where are we? So it was interesting conversations to hear about Lavrov. So I hope so. I hope it does happen. Like it was interesting to observe. Really, truly, I would say it truly was really quite interesting. So so funny. But let's go. Hey ho, let's go. All right. So that was that. That was a vision about Europe versus Russia, Lavrov, and such. Now, also we are addressing here. Okay. We're addressing here the what of something that Zelensky said. Zelensky said, I think it was yesterday, if the US pulls out of NATO, Europe will be occupied by Russia, with only 50 brigades left against 300 plus Russian brigades. The risk is 100%. So my question is here, because guys, at this point, we have to we have to address all these questions. We can't be afraid, right? I have to ask all these questions. So the first question uh, is let's just ask, is the US going to withdraw from NATO? That's clearly what Trump wants, okay? And by the way, I don't have it with me, guys. I saw this thing. It's real, okay? I saw this thing online. And this is how glaring the situation is. So Trump in the 80s, I think, he put out ads in the newspapers telling the US to leave NATO. And this was right after he had gone on a trip to Moscow. I think it was 1987. And the trip to Moscow had been paid by something called it was like some sort of tourism agency connected to the KGB. Come on, come on, people. Right? So since the 80s, he's been saying that because that is a Russian talking point. Of course, Russia wants a weak Europe so they can take over and do whatever they want, right? Okay, now let's go here. So go back to the statement by Zelensky. So is the US going to withdraw from NATO in in the next 4 years? Let's just say, well, let's say here in 2025, and then we ask the next 3 years. So will the US withdraw from NATO in 2025? It doesn't know. It's interesting. It shows me, it's a weird image. You know, when you have these graphs of geography, when you have the kind of like a soil cross section, it shows me 3 layers, and it's still at the very bottom layer that they might try, but it doesn't get to the surface. Okay, so no. I mean, of course, by that I mean Trump, right? Because of course anybody else would not withdraw from NATO. So, okay. So will okay, so will the, will the US pull out of NATO again? No. Let's ask like this. Will Russia invade Europe after, let's say in 2025 or and then after? Okay, so will Russia invade Europe in 2025? No. I'd say, and you know, the image I see is that Russia is collapsing. They barely have any troops. They have barely have any arms, but they're using this effort. Can you imagine they're using Trump to try to like rescue them, but it's not going to happen in time. So I don't, so actually this brings up a really interesting point. How much longer will this like, pump effort, right? Because once Trump got elected, quote unquote, the pump effort, like now there's is like they think they're like high on it, right? So how much longer is this going to last? Or is it going to last a few years or a few weeks? How long is this pump effect of the Trump fake win going to last? So interesting. I see that they're making like really pushing hard now. This is what they're doing with these meetings, really putting a lot of pressure and trying to do the Ukraine situation because when you think about it, they're making Elon Musk, Trump, and all their little minions are making this the biggest thing, right? They're making it their priority. But why is that? Why should it be our priority, right? Why are they making a massive effort to go to Saudi Arabia to do this? Because they're owned by Russia, and that's Russia's biggest problem. That's why they're putting all the efforts into making this happen. So, so I see that they're ramming it in, pushing it all the way until the end of February. And then when it gets to the beginning of March, like March collapses onto them. So it's almost as if it's a car that's going really fast and they hit a wall and they crash. That's what it feels like. I see this sense of force. They're using force. And if all these books about treatises about war, the art of war and such, when you use too too much force, never, not say never defeats, but force doesn't always defeat strategy. And it's saying, but it tells me here, Rosie, no, they're just effort. They are full of effort with their mouth. But when it comes down to it, NATO has barely even used their weaponry. They are very capable and then they can very quickly stop. So, so that's interesting. Okay. All right. So again, so the answer here really is that they will push February until the very end of it, but then it shows that something collapses onto them. And then there's more and more problems for them. Okay, so this is that. Now let's actually go back to something I have not yet addressed related to this. Okay, now this is the Saudi. So I want to know And guys, the other day Trump apparently had a conversation with Putin. I never even look into that. But anyway, so the other side, Ukraine not invited. So what is going to happen at this Tuesday meeting between Russia and the US to discuss the end of Ukraine war? So what is going to happen at this meeting? Interesting. I see Lavrov. No, no, but we want the territory. We occupying, we're going there. We took it. We want the whole thing. They're provoking us. They're provoking. And so he's really upset. Like they have the bully attitude, but the whole thing really has backfired. The fact that nobody takes it seriously. The fact that they organize this meeting to end a war and the country that's being invaded is not invited. It can't possibly be a serious thing. And it's also telling me that Trump has been blackmailing and extorting Ukraine from the beginning, so much so that he actually was impeached in his first term because of this. So it's not different. It's the same attitude. But now they're a bit surprised and taken aback at how Europe has united and is fighting back and has actually really joined Ukraine in this. I really do feel this alignment. So I see that Lavrov leaves. I know liking what's happening. I know liking. So he leaves. He leaves and he makes this like drama thing. Not liking. I'm going now. I go to rob people building. So it's just again this acting out, and then the Americans. There's some of I think it's that General Kellogg. I don't know how much they pay him to like look ridiculous, but oh yes. Well, I guess we have to ask for these things because even the press, as compliant as they are saying, well, so you're going to give Russia everything they want, and you're not going to ask for anything in return. It looks a little ridiculous, doesn't it? Because the obviousness of what's happening becomes apparent, right? So that's it. It looks really bad for them. And I see that even Saudi Arabia is starting to be annoyed that they're involved in this thing and they want to wash their hands off of this. So anyway, so that's what I think is going to happen tomorrow. And Russia, again, upset that Europe is not backing up. But I yell at them, I tell them things. They are still wanting to defend their territory. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. So anyway. Anyway, any way you want, anyway. Okay, so that's that. Guys, you know what? I'm thinking, let's see here. There's more. We talked about it, right? Now, I has a few things. Should I continue? Should I do another episode? Let's see. Okay, now let's see. You know what? Let me just continue. Let me bite the bullet. It's going to be a little bit long, but it's okay because there are interesting information here. And so I thought this was a really, really interesting comment from our beloved Jasmine Crockett, a patriot, fearless woman. Okay, now Jasmine Crock. So we know, guys. I had not done a reading on this. I had not looked into it. Which is, remember that the day, I think it was the day before the election, the ICC had come here, had flown here with NATO, something like that. And we know that Trump, curiously, one of the first things he did was to sanction the ICC. So I thought it was, of course, I had not looked into it. It is a little sus, not a little, it's very sus, right? But now I thought it was quite interesting that Congresswoman Crockett said something. Okay, so she says here, when the US president, wannabe king, and his queen are rooting for our enemies, our friends throw us the deuces. What's crazy is I agree that we have a rogue regime ruining our country, and I'll be watching to see what the ICC does. Trump is a national security risk, and so forth. So what I'd like to zoom in here and ask is about Jasmine Crockett and her comment. Like what is the what does she know about the ICC? And what is the ICC planning to do about Trump? Because you know what I was thinking as I went to well, on and off doing the laundry, and I was thinking what we know that Jack Smith apparently he went back to The Hague, right? That's where the ICC is. And by the way, I'm going there too. And there's, hi, I'm Rosie. Excuse me? No, I'm truly, it's a true story. I'm going back. I'm going back. I want the world to know. Baby, let it show. I'm going back. I want the world to know. Baby, let it show. So no, really, I'm going back. Wouldn't it be interesting if I was there at the moment the news breaks? Hello, Rosie reporting direct from the ICC. Psychic investigator, international reporter. Okay. No. Hey, Didi. Knocking. Knocking. Huh? 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 So, so really, what is the ICC going to do? Does she know something? What is going on? So, you know what I got is interesting, I find interesting. I found that the ICC got the information about the election interference. They got the documents that show that the election was stolen. And one of the things I had read before about the ICC is that they only prosecute um, people from whichever country when the country itself refuses to do it because of corruption. And that is exactly the situation here in the US. Unfortunately, we could say that the rule of law is really how do we put it? Some things are still functioning, of course, right? But at the same time, uh, what do we say, right? I mean, I think as far as Trump, it's broken completely, right? So, given how things are going as far as Trump himself is concerned, he's been getting away with it, right? So we have some wins, right? They block some of these executive orders and such, but they keep going, and Trump himself has escaped justice. We could say that fairly, right? So I see that they have the information to indict him. Yes, in fact. And they have information from, I think, yes, from Jack Smith. Oh, wow, interesting. He says, yes, I was not able to process, right? This is a fact. So, so, um, so they have information, in fact. So what is going to, and by interesting, I see Biden. So is there a chance? Let's see here. So what does Jasmine Crockett know? Oh, she's a lawyer also. So she knows. She knows. Wow. She knows that they know. So why is Jasmine Crockett bringing it up when others like, let's say Kamala and Biden are not bringing it up? Because they don't want it to be about them. They want, so because it's saying, of course, Kamala is the real president. So you don't want her to say, it's sort of like she wants to stay high, right? To say, well, I'm the real president, but she does not want to expose herself to any sort of retaliation, so that she has to pretend again the same thing as if she has no clue or all of that, right? They don't want the focus to be on them, and that's why. So let's go back here. So again, when I had seen before that NATO would do something, how would this happen? And is this related to the ICC or not? And by the way, the ICC is at The Hague in the Netherlands. And of course, Mark Rutte is also Dutch. So everything rhymes. We could say that, but still, they're different organizations. Is NATO going to work in conjunction with the ICC or separately or what? So interesting. So I see that Mark Rutte is holding the German flag. They're working with Germany now, and they're organizing the protection of Ukraine. And they may have to, in fact, do something about Elon Musk. And I see also that Macron really wants to do something about it, and he's using the example of the Telegram app CEO. Remember how he was arrested? And for relatively less, right? Because this man, Elon Musk, is a massive criminal. And so so is this likely to happen? Interesting. It kind of tells me in May, But first, NATO. Okay? All right. So, okay, now just to tell you guys the situation, how it is. Nobody else, I mean, who needs evidence anymore? Evidence. It's on our faces at this point. So, this is, Elon Musk, the guy who does press conferences from the White House, right? There he is. Let me just show you this. Musk openly praising Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov while destroying America's institutions. So we see here, Elon Musk said, "This is what competent leadership looks like." Oh, I guess you guys, I'm sorry, you haven't seen it. So this tweet below him is somebody talking about Lavrov coming, um, Lavrov arriving. Okay, so, and it honestly has something to do. I'm sorry, I don't have it with me at this very moment. Let's see if I actually have here the version. Okay, so 1 second. Okay, that's right. So let me just show you exactly what he said. Okay, so here, Moscow, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, while destroying America's institutions. That's what I wrote as title. Just okay. So Elon Musk says this is what competent leadership looks like, and this is a notorious pro-Russia account saying, "Breaking: Russia's Lavrov arrives in Saudi Arabia for U.S. talks on Ukraine war." And I mean, what do you say to this, right? Here we have this guy, like I said, he is very connected to the current American president, quote unquote. He does press conferences from the White House, and he's praising the Russian foreign minister. So he is basically admitting, right? What else do you need, really? So let's ask, how is is there anybody in the house? I do trust that the so-called deep state is people like Dick Cheney and such. So are they, what are they, like, they're seeing this and doing and thinking what? And what does NATO do? Anybody doing something about it? They're saying if it was anyone else, they would have been arrested and at least a couple decades in prison already. So they're going to catch him. It's a sure thing. And I see they have multiple plans, and I don't know. I don't exactly know who or how or what, but I don't see him. I was going to say living my. I don't think he's going to die from this. I think he's going to go to some hardcore prison somewhere. And I see even interesting. Looking at the Hague. Could they be in the Hague? I don't think. I think he could be in a prison here actually, because the biggest crime is is the secrets he has sold and whatever he has done against the United States. So show me his energy today and as it presses forward. Okay, tell me today. Who's saying this today, February 17th or 16th, something like that. So see progress forward. Again, interesting, this image of him driving this car like this, boom, boom, very strongly. And until the Bay very, I'd see like the first week maybe of March, he's driving very strong, pushing this, going straight into this war mode because he's working to benefit Russia, and Russia wants this to end as soon as possible because they're losing in a lot of ways. Of course, Ukraine is also losing, but Ukraine has the support of Europe and up until nowish the US. Okay, so So that's that. So then I see that he is stopped, but there's the wall that I see that stops Musk is really, really thick, and he can't go through. He can't go through it, and he's stopped. And I see he's captured for sure. So, and we know his personality. Yes, he's on drugs, but his personality is that he does not give up. He goes after. He never sees any obstacles. But it's the Icarus thing, right? He flew too close to the sun. So that's this part. And just a couple more. Wow, it never ends, guys. Here, just the last couple things about Elon Musk and something interesting here. Oh no, hold on. I thought it was actually the, let's see. Now, just to tell you how serious this is. So we talk about everybody knows it's not a secret, right? Obviously, this party is neo-Nazi party in Germany, the one that he's pushing. So this is from last year, February 2024. Neo-Nazi Party, AFD, had party advisors were members it actually was one person. It was my mistake here. It's not plural, but this person was a member of FSB, Russia's intelligence service. So really, think about it. This is a party that was seeded by Russia, and Russia has been supporting all these far right movements, some far left ones, but mostly far right. Anything divisive and anything that has as a goal to destroy the countries, right? Where these parties are there create division and so forth. So this is how bad it is, right? And when you have just a slide before, I showed Elon Musk openly praising the Russian foreign minister. Then we have the head of not the head this party that has advisors that work for the Russian foreign service. What else do we need, right? So let's see here, and it's saying that what I'm getting here is that may you live in, that saying, I think it's Chinese saying actually, may you live in interesting times. We're definitely living in interesting times. And I do think we are under attack here, right? So, oh, you know what? I had something else, guys. I this is going to be for the next video. Really, I even took a picture and created a slide. I don't know why it is not here. Next thing is I'm going to talk about, not today, but next video. I may start recording it today, but definitely for tomorrow. The video about the airplanes. There's all these airplane accidents, right? Come on, right? But just to end on a happy note, so Sheryl Crow, the singer, this is an image of hers. She sold her Tesla car and donated money to NPR because, guys, oh my God, what a horrible thing. So Sheryl Crow sells Tesla, donates money to NPR, so that's nice, right? People doing something about it. So that's today, guys. That's today. Tomorrow is another day. A lot still happening. I'm going to try to do the videos earlier. But anyway, so that's it. I'm gonna say goodbye. I said 7:30, it's 9:30 now. So I'm going to download this and then post it. Okay? All right, so good night. Thanks for watching.